Hello and welcome back to Vintage Disney here on Brian's Things That Are Cool. Today we'll be discussing a crowd favorite of the Disney parks, the Jungle Cruise. I'll also be giving my thoughts on the 2021 brand new film starring Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt, Jack Whitehall, and Paul Giamatti. So let's head down the river on the Jungle Cruise. The Jungle Cruise. Personally, I'm most familiar with the Walt Disney World version. But this riverboat ride was an opening day attraction for Disneyland on July 17, 1955. In all four parks that have a version of this ride, it's located in Adventureland. The ride takes you through a waterway with areas themed after Asia, Africa, and South America. Along the way, you see audio-animatronic jungle animals as you're guided along in your 1930s-style steamboat. Of course, along the way, you're subjected to the terrible jokes of your tour guide and skipper.
It's okay to stare, folks. They're all wearing their trunks.
In its planning stages, Imagineers took inspiration from one of Walt's true-life adventure documentaries, The African Lion, and the 1951 Bogart film, The African Queen. In fact, the boat ride is based on the steamer from that film. Another inspiration may have come from Walt's 1941 U.S. ambassador trip to South America, when among other adventures, Walt and his animators took a steamer 30 miles upriver into a small Colombian rainforest. When Imagineer Bill Evans was given the task of landscaping the attraction, not only did he import tropical plants, but he actually uprooted local orange trees and replanted them upside down, giving the now exposed roots covered in vines an exotic look. Imagineers Harper Goff and Bill Evans had the biggest hands in the attraction, but we do get some great work by Disney Imagineer and gag man Mark Davis. Mark Davis, the man behind the Country Bears and the Pirates of the Caribbean, gave us Jungle Cruise scenes like the elephant bathing pool and the rhino chasing explorers up a pole. His humor and designs are always a standout. When the ride was in its planning stages, it was originally going to feature real animals, but Walt nixed that idea when he figured that animals sleep most of the day. This idea, however, did finally come to fruition when the Kilimanjaro Safari opened at Disney's Animal Kingdom in 1998. The Kilimanjaro Safari features a more serious documentary-style narration, which is how the Jungle Cruise originally was before the horrible jokes we all love to hate were added. When Disneyland was completed and in operation, Walt would often take two types of trips to his new park. If he was wearing his gray suit and neckerchief, he was there for fun. But if he was dressed down in a leather jacket, pinstripe pants, and a straw hat, he was there for business. It was on such an occasion when a Jungle Cruise operator didn't realize he had a famous passenger. When the ride was over, Walt asked the superintendent, "What's the trip time on that ride?" 7 minutes. "Well, I just got a 4.5-minute trip. How would you like to go to a movie and have the theater remove a reel in the middle of the picture? Do you realize how much those hippos cost? I want people to see them, not be rushed through a ride by some guy who's bored with his work." And with that, for a week afterwards, boat pilots were timed stopwatches until it was perfect. Lesson learned? Don't mess with Walt's vision. This year, 2021, Walt Disney Pictures released Jungle Cruise, starring Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt. Now, for the most part, movies based off of attractions have been hit or miss. We've had Mission to Mars, Tower of Terror, The Country Bears, Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Tomorrowland. Whew, God help us if they release the Tiki Tiki Room or It's a Small World. Well, let's see if Jungle Cruise works or not. Towards the end of last week, I went out to see the Jungle Cruise. I liked the ride enough as a kid and was curious how they could turn a 7-minute ride into a 2.5-hour movie. Surprisingly, I had a really good time. The plot follows a woman played by Emily Blunt who, along with her brother, meets up with Dwayne Johnson, who owns a boat, and they go off in search of a supernatural treasure that has healing powers. And of course we have a number of bad guys, some who get very little screen time. Now, the film borrows a lot. It reminds me a lot of the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie, mixed with Indiana Jones, mixed with the It Happened One Night romantic comedy trope of two people who don't like each other falling in love at the end. And it takes the idea of cursed villains straight from Pirates of the Caribbean, though here they're conquistadors. Also, I may be the only one who picked up on this, but Dwayne Johnson's relationship with his boat where it's almost an extension of himself and it's near indestructible as he pushes it to the limit, reminds me a lot of Baloo's relationship with his plane, the Sea Duck, on Tailspin. Though I'm sure that's only something that I was thinking about. The editing here is really quick, but in this case it works because it allows the long running time to move at a breakneck speed. The cast delivers strong performances throughout, and the action is strong. If you're looking for a thought-provoking epic, maybe it's not what you're looking for, but if you just want a fun popcorn flick this summer, check out The Jungle Cruise. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my look at The Jungle Cruise. If you want to be kept up to date as to when I release a new video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I'm Brian, and I'll see you next time.